I'm gonna tell you a story. It has many layers and many complications for real people in my real life. It's a story that needs to be told for numerous reasons. And frankly, when I tell you this story, you're gonna think, wow, this needs to be made into a movie. Well, you're in luck, because I'm gonna make it into one.
If you're just joining us, the breaking story that we're following out of New York City, within the span of 18 minutes, 2 separate planes crashing into the World Trade Center.
In 2004, just 3 years after the tragic 9/11, emotions and fear for terrorism was at an all-time high.
This is a terrible moment. But this country will not relent until we have saved ourselves and others from the terrible tragedy that came upon America.
In the spring of 2004, in Northern Virginia, 11 men were sentenced to prison after playing paintball in the woods. Some had firearms and were charged for that, and others were charged with terrorism, as they were believed to be part of what was known as the Virginia Jihad Network. The Virginia Jihad Network was a network of men who were to go train in Pakistan and then come back to home, wherever home would be in the world, and help wage war over the United States by joining the Taliban. One of the 11 men who were charged was Saifullah Chapman. He was convicted for providing material support for a terrorist organizational group and some firearm charges. He was sentenced to a minimum of 35 years. He ended up facing 85. And that meant by the time he got out, it would be year 2089, and he'd be 116 years old. This also meant that Saifullah Chapman probably would never see over prison walls again. Now that you know the backstory, let me tell you about a woman named Dominique. Dominique is a 26-year-old woman who has a 5-year-old daughter and wears familyhood and maternal instincts like she wears her own skin. About 4 months ago, Dominique's definition of family had been challenged. A major part of her identity had resurfaced and made Dominique think about what family really means and if blood really does run thicker than water. Lucky for her, she had an opportunity that very few in the world can never say they've had. Her biological father, whom she deemed a complete stranger even though she shares half of her DNA with, came back. Dominique, full name Dominique Chapman, daughter of Saifullah Chapman, found out that her dad was released 71 years early in 2018. In my documentary, Dialogue Not Admitted, we follow Dominique as she recalls a fatherless childhood and attempts to rekindle a relationship after 14 years of not seeing her biological father through phone calls, video calls, and lastly, the reunion. A reunion that came 71 years early. Dominique would have been 97 when her father was released, but instead, her daughter gets a chance to meet her grandfather, and Dominique gets a chance to meet the other half of her DNA. Dominique has a chance to bring solace to her identity, peace into her home, and after 14 years of fatherless silence, she finally has a chance to admit the dialogue.
Still hard to let go. Oh, I wish that you hadn't pulled the trigger. Shut me down with my bitter heart. My blood is getting thicker. Oh, you shut me down, you shut me down. Oh.